This is where everyone meets on the same starting line. I'm Sam G, a triple registered architect who has practiced across South Africa, Australia, and the USA. This is your design passport. Real stories, practical pathways, and global design ideas to help you build a career and a life that travels with you. Ready? Let's stamp your passport. Welcome back, fellow globetrotting designers. I'm Sam G, and this is your Design Passport, the show where we unpack what it really takes to build your architecture career across borders, one messy, bureaucratic, beautiful step at a time. If you caught the last episode, you'll know we wrapped up step 1 of the Australian registration process, the OQA, or Overseas Qualification Assessment, and I shared the entire roller coaster that came with getting my South African master's degree officially recognized in Australia. Today, we're stepping into step 2, the Architectural Practice Exam, the APE. And listen, this is where everyone meets on the same starting line. International grads, Aussie grads, people with 10 years of experience, people with 2. The APE levels the field. It is a beast, but it's a beast you can absolutely conquer, especially when you know what you're walking into. By the end of this episode, you'll know what each of the 3 APE parts really test, the traps nobody warns you about, how I failed and came back stronger, what interview panels are actually assessing, and how to move through the process with less fear and more clarity. Let's dive in. All right, part 1, the logbook and SOAP, SOPE. On paper, it looks straightforward. 3,300 hours, minimum of 2 years experience, mapped to the 2021 NSCA, the National Standard of Competency for Architects, plus your 2,000 to 3,000 word statement of practical experience, aka SOAP. Simple, right? Well, sort of. The logbook? Easy enough. Hours are hours. You align, you verify, you submit. But the SOAP? Oof. She got a whole personality. Some colleagues got approved straight away. Others got rejected. I was somewhere in the middle. Approved, but only after clarifying and resubmitting. And the feedback? Painfully vague. Not wrong, just opaque. Like reading your horoscope and hoping it applies. Here's the line buried deep in the requirements. Must complete a minimum of 12 months of experience subsequent to successfully completing the Australian or overseas qualification. And that, my friends, bites international candidates hard. Your hours before your degree were awarded, they don't count. Your impressive experience in another country before migrating also don't count. You must show growth after the date your qualification was firmly conferred. No one spelled that one out for me clearly at the time, so if you're listening, this is your warning. Make sure that you have your 1,000 hours before you claim any of your overseas experience. Write your SOAP as if you're explaining your work to a lawyer, not a designer. Focus on decisions, responsibility, risk, judgment, not deliverables. Part 2, the NEP. 80 multiple choice questions, 2 hours, and a lot of adrenaline. When I wrote mine, our cohort was one of the first to sit the new computer-based versions, so we were the guinea pigs. No interface previews, no flagging confirmation, no familiarization, nothing. Picture this. High-rise testing center. Everything from aviation exams to accounting certifications happening around you. You leave everything in the locker, no pens, no phones, no paper. Just you, the computer, and a tiny scrap of paper and a pencil you must return like it's government property. The vibe? Serious. Clinical. Everyone sweating quietly. There were whispers of design and construct questions. Honestly, not surprising. The industry has been shifting towards D&C for years. This exam was just catching up. I didn't pass the first time. And here's what I want to say loudly. Failing the NEP doesn't mean you are not competent. It means you need to shift how you study. The Sam who walked into the second attempt wasn't just more prepared, she was different. Contracts, procurement, risk, authorities, legislation, liability, company resources, anything I could get my hand on, especially the free stuff, because let's be honest, your wallet is wheezing at this stage. Before the first exam, I struck up a chat with a woman who would become my study partner. We reconnected afterwards and started meeting every Saturday for 2 months before interviews. We drilled concepts, we swapped scenarios, we built our own mini APE bootcamp. And here's the poetic bit. Our registration numbers landed consecutively. Mine ends in 1, hers ends in 2. Architecture nerd romance at its finest. If you're rewriting, study for breadth first, depth second. The NEP wants safe generalists, not specialists. Part 3, the interview. 45 to 60 minutes with 2 registered architects. This is not a design critique. This is, can you practice independently, safely, ethically, and competently in Australia? Your SOAP is the backbone. They will use it. My interview experience? Mine was warm, supportive, genuinely collaborative. I felt seen, challenged, and respected. But my study partner, she was grilled. Questions on questions on questions. She said, I don't know, multiple times. She left not knowing if she passed. But here's the truth. The interview isn't measuring your worth. It's measuring your risk profile. Boards must protect the public. They want to know whether you can pause, consult, avoid acting outside your scope. That's the whole game. In my interview, the first scenario was regarding foundations. The interviewer asked, what kind of foundations would you expect to use on the site? My response? Well, first, I'm not a structural engineer. Second, I'd need the geotechnical report. I'd pass that to the structural engineer and coordinate the architectural design around their recommendations. Safe, professional, collaborative. Scenario 2 was regarding heritage. There's a structure with presumed heritage significance. Your design impacts it. What do you do? My response? You stop. You engage a heritage consultant. You contact the authority. You don't make heritage calls as an architect. Again, stay in your lane, protect the public, mitigate risk. And my practical tip? Practice saying the sentence. That's outside my expertise, so here's how I'd proceed. It can carry you through half the exam. When the email came through saying I'd passed all 3 stages, my office went wild. Cake, flowers, celebrations. But the kicker? I still couldn't call myself an architect. Not until I registered with my state board. For me, the BOAQ in Queensland. This blows non-architects' minds. You can pass everything, smash it, ace it, and legally you're still not an architect until your name is on that register. And here's the emotional truth. For many of us, that title has lived in our hearts for years before anyone allowed us to use it publicly. Registration isn't just paperwork. It's claiming an identity you've carried quietly for a long time. Quick guide. Exams run twice a year. If you fail anything, you wait for the next round. Places are limited. Apply early. Session 1, Part 1 closes late Jan. NEP, early April, interviews in May and June. Session 2, Part 1 closes early July. NEP, mid-September, interviews October to November. Most candidates spend around $2,000 to $3,000 total. Pels and Park are great, but I was financially tapped, so I relied heavily on free material and peer support. Once you've passed the APE, the final step is registering with your state or territory board. You send your documents, you pay your fee, you wait. You get your number, then eventually your certificate. Only then, finally, the title becomes yours. But the moment that email lands, that deserves its own episode. And that's the APE, in all its messy, bureaucratic, wonderful detail. If you're on this journey, I created something to make your life so much easier. My APA registration checklist for Australia. The exact guide I wish I had, covering documents, timelines, evidence, and what to prepare at every step. You'll find it linked in the show notes. And if you know someone currently wrestling with this process, please send this episode their way. You could save them weeks of confusion. Next episode, we'll be speaking to Emily Perner, technical staffer, a UT Austin alumni, someone who has studied a semester abroad at the University of Sydney, completed her ARE exams, and currently working towards her AXP hours. I'm Sam G, and this is your Design Passport. Until next time, keep sketching, keep dreaming, and keep building that global career.